Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is October 6th, and the strike team is here to bring you Drinks on Monday. Today we are gathered with Mike Vanderbilt, Pat O'Sullivan, and I am Dan Lynch, and we will be talking about all the shit you need to know.
Pat, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Me and Mike went Sunday morning to see Left Behind. In lieu of Sunday services.
Yes. I was excited to see who was at the movies to see the movie about the Rapture.
A lot of people.
11:40 on Crestwood. It was packed.
Yes.
It was
What
packed.
time did you guys go see this at?
11:40.
Yeah.
Woo! In the morning?
There was
I barely got there. Pat was already standing in line, so I made him pay for all my food.
there was
some jujubes and some.
there was
a mooly over here.
there was another couple that was walking out in front of us, and the woman was a short, dumpy white trash broad with a hoodie on, and the back of the hoodie said, "These are my church clothes."
Oh God! Why didn't you point that out to me?
Because I was listening to the lyrics of the song about two men were on the hill, and then in a blink of the eye, one was left behind.
Oh God! I told the kid at work, this kid Kyle, he's an ardent, he's an atheist like through and through, and he almost gave up his other religion, football, to come to see Left Behind. And when I told him the tale about sitting in the theater, he was very upset that he did not come by.
The trailer for it looks a little bit like the Stephen King movie.
Langoliers.
Yeah.
which is a very awful, dated.
The Langoliers had the made-for-TV miniseries from 10 years ago. I believe had more production value than Left Behind. The problem with Left Behind for me was it's just inept. I'm an atheist, but I love religion in movies. I love good versus evil. I mean, one of my favorite characters in film is Father Lancaster Marin from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
I mean, priests are usually the good guys in movies that I like. The Exorcist, The Omen.
I'm totally not an atheist.
Salem's Lot. I haven't seen the movie.
I remember his Return to Salem's Lot. But I don't remember the
Larry
original
Cohen.
Salem's
He
Lot.
pops in and other Stephen King books that I've.
I am not an atheist. My stance on atheism is kind of my same stance as like hardcore religious people in general. How can you be completely sure of anything? I think the people that are completely sure there is no God are just as whacked out as the people that are completely sure that there is a God.
100% correct.
And enact all these crazy laws about it. I don't think 100% certainty should come when you're sober. And a good example of this is like if you're at a wedding and you see some dude dancing his fucking ass off, and you go up to him and you're like, "Jesus, man, you're partying. How many drinks you had tonight?" And he's like, "Nothing. 5 years clean sober." That guy's a fucking whack job. Confidence, that level of confidence for atheism and dancing should only come under the influence of alcohol. I don't believe you can be that certain about anything when you're sober. Anyway, back to Left Behind. I dug the shit out of it. I thought when it was a weirdo religious movie, it was great. It was entertaining. I loved it. When it became a disaster movie in the middle, it sucked because it wasn't the Roland Emmerich big disaster shit where their stuff is blowing up.
It was the same shot of people's clothes laying on the floor because when you go into heaven, you're naked.
Yeah,
which actually makes it kind of sound like not a bad place to be. Like I mean, not the tattered clothing of hell, just no clothing at all.
Just walking around nude. I thought that as a piece of like religious dogma, like it was at least interesting to watch. When it was a disaster movie, it was shitty. But the ending and the beginning, that's when I thought it was good. All those conversations in the airport were like so. It was
so over the top. It was very over the top. Pat looked like Bazooka Joe. I kept turning around and I don't want to laugh too hard because there's people here with their kids. Can you imagine if you were a kid and like you probably go see one movie a month? Your ma took you to see Left Behind.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah.
At least take you to see Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they're letting you out of the basement where you're like being programmed with VeggieTales cartoons.
I've seen some of the worst movies by choice in the theater. I did not know that they were the worst movies, but
we went in knowing this was going to be bad.
What is it? Like the ticket was like $6. It was cheap.
It's cheap. I mean,
it was a $10 popcorn and
Pat. I mean, Pat got the senior discounts. He's looking a little frail these days.
The bottle of booze in your sock and just
no. I had to go to work afterwards, so I did not. I did not get drunk.
My favorite part of the movie was the extremely long shot on the actress Nikki Whalen's legs, who was playing the sexy flight attendant.
Interesting thing about that, so I go on Wikipedia that night, and I read the Wikipedia synopsises for the next 12 books in the fucking series. She ends up being the Antichrist's bride.
Oh.
Yes.
As someone who has been referred to as the Antichrist on numerous occasions,
your bride would be a flight attendant.
I would.
I didn't even think about
a blonde one too.
Just to mix it up.
No.
I didn't even think about
Wouldn't
this.
it be a hairdresser?
No, it would be a flight attendant. I didn't even think about this when like me and Mike were sitting there, and I'm like, this whole movie takes place because that brunette, the one that was raptured, unfortunately.
No, she was She got
that was the one I wanted to see left behind. Fuck that blonde. Like blonde's but that brunette, like with those eyelashes, like she was something else.
She totally got raptured though.
Yeah, I know. Well, God knows fucking what's up.
Hey.
Which one do you pick? If you had to pick between the two, who are you going to welcome into your kingdom naked?
The brunette.
Yes, exactly.
The brunette.
Exactly.
And then, they should have concentrated more on the characters on the plane. There was a little person.
That felt like a total sci-fi movie ploy to like for laughs to like.
There was an Asian who believed it was all aliens and kept taking pictures. The movie thrives on stereotypes.
Yeah, it reminded me of Gremlins. I am a camera. Gremlins.
And my favorite, the Muslim.
Yes, which we discussed in the parking lot afterwards. The Muslim who was one of the nicest characters, right up there with Leah Thompson. He was very conscientious. He tried to help out the midget. He was a calming voice of reason in the cockpit. However, because he followed Allah and not Yahweh, he was left behind. Which I thought, that's where like shit like this, like because it kind of engages you. I mean, that's the thing about like super religious shit is that like it kind of engages you, and you're like, all right, be decent and all this stuff, and you kind of go along, and you're about to drink the Kool-Aid, and then they pull some shit like that, and you're like, you know what, man, fuck you.
100% right. That's why I follow there's no atheist dogma, but like, yeah, I dig this. Like the messages in the movie about you got to be decent, you got to be good.
And then there's some bigotry.
Yeah, there's some like serious,
like blatant, just like no, fuck the Muslims. We're not gonna. Where was Ben Affleck?
10 years ago, The Passion of the Christ came out. Have you
I've never seen it.
You went to the show to see it and went to Club Dread instead.
That sounds.
I went to see it for the second time. I was coming out of Club Dread. Passion of Christ was sold out. You were showing up there. And Club Dread's playing again. I'll go see it with you.
I till this day, I still have never seen Passion of Christ.
I haven't seen it either.
Apocalypto is. Oh, we're not getting.
I like movies with whipping. I do like movies with whipping.
I mean, it's an intense movie. And it's about Jesus' crucifixion, and it puts it into like a very. It takes out the kind of like the history like ishness that you learn in school, and it puts like kind of like the graphicness to it.
So the Jews don't kill him at the end?
He dies, but he just dies an awful death.
See,
it's horrible.
But that borderline becomes torture porn, and something my uncle, the now former Catholic priest, one thing he couldn't stand was that Mother Angelica, who was always on the religion. I think she's still alive. The one with the eye patch. See her at like 3 a.m. on Mass for Shut-ins or something. She's always concentrating on the image of Christ being crucified, never enough on him, the reborn, like when he's preaching, like, be nice to people.
This is one of the strangest openings we've ever had, and I like it. I'm just going to hijack it for just a second and say that the movie, we were wondering how well it was going to do at the box office. It made like $3 million. Didn't do great. Maybe it was $6 million. It did okay. But it wasn't.
Number one was a Gone Girl, I'm assuming.
Yeah. When we get a producer, we'll have all this stuff figured out.
But one of the Kirk Cameron, who starred in the original Left Behind, he still that movie Fireproof that he did still holds the record for being one of the most profitable independent movies of all time. There is a lot of fucking money to be made in doing these crazy religious movies because they plan the bus trips, they all come out, they cost shit to make. They're all independently financed by
much like country music, the fans are loyal.
Yeah, and
the pastors and reverends tell their flock to go see the movie to give them the money so that they continue making more and more of these movies.
I'll tell you what, my uncle Tom, the priest, he'd tell people, he'd be the priest, he'd be like, nah, don't go see Left Behind, go see Gone Girl, it's a better movie.
Yeah.
I think he believed more in the power of cinema than the power of Christ.
I got high one night and I came up with an idea for like if we were gonna do, we were gonna call it Father Mike, and it was gonna be about a kid that moves into a new town and he makes friends with other kids at the comic book store, and they go and play D&D in the one kid's basement, and the kid's mother is, what are you looking for, is divorced. And it was going to be all about, like, all right,
I found it.
okay, we're looking for the books.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Oh, yeah. Left Behind, as inept as you want to see it, enjoyable. And
10
funny.
minutes on Left Behind, people.
It was good.
It was good. You don't need to go to the show to see it, but
If you want to
check it
go,
out.
well, I don't know if you got to go. That's one of those, like, you have to be their opening weekend. Like, this was the equivalent. You know, there's certain movies, you got to see the midnight show, Friday night, Times Square. You got to get the crowd experience. Left Behind is you got to go opening weekend, Sunday morning.
Preferably Sunday morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't go see this on a Tuesday afternoon. 'Cause it ain't gonna hold
My
up.
last comment on it: if there's an airplane coming in and you need to put up some sort of signal, just flash your brights.
yeah.
Just flash your brights. Dan, that's what Pat and I did all weekend. We were at the show. What'd you do?
So, I'm a big sports fan. I listen to a lot of sports radio.
The
And-
real religion in America.
Oh, God bless it. The FanDuel commercials finally sucked me in. So I signed up for FanDuel. FanDuel is one-day fantasy.
Who does
leagues.
that? It's
Well, I do it now.
no. There's a guy. Whoever started that, he's like, it's like the guy from Earth, Wind, and Fire or something fucking crazy. I'm serious.
It's super amazing. I have never watched so much baseball before in my life.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball's fun to watch.
I'm creating spreadsheets. I'm learning who is in the starting lineup. I am analyzing all this stuff. And the first couple of days, I was losing money. And then after a while, I figured out how you can lose your money even slower, or sometimes win money by changing up your leagues and seeing the trends. So I watched a lot of baseball. Sunday is football day. Watched a lot of football. And, now I'm just gearing up. Hockey season starting. I couldn't tell you 3/4 of the hockey players that are playing on Wednesday. I know Jonathan Quick and Tuukka Rask. But I have a FanDuel league set up. So if anybody's interested in this, tweet us. I will set up a league that our listeners can battle me in.
I tried playing fantasy hockey a couple years ago. Oddly enough, just
Who's your highest scoring player?
it was all kickers.
There's no kickers in hockey.
That's how bad it was.
No, who was your highest scoring player?
Patrick O'Sullivan.
Thank you.
I forgot who he played for, but I drafted him just because he had a
Oilers
bad
or
name.
something, yeah.
The best thing about my fantasy hockey team was the name of the team was the Crystal Lake Counselors, which I thought that was very good.
FanDuel was started by like a boxer or someone real. It's like Planet Hollywood, where like, yeah, Bruce Willis is in the kitchen making burgers. No, there's someone there's a big name attached to it. I just try to look up on my phone.
Some of them are free, but I usually get into the dollar ones.
Mm.
And then, I was in the 50-50 challenges, which 50% of the people win money and 50% don't win money. And it's a very small, minuscule amount. But as you learn the players and you learn the values it gets you a little bit more interested in baseball. And right now, it was one of the best weekends in baseball from what I remember. The last I truly remember watching baseball was 2005 when the White Sox won the World Series.
I went Friday night out with my girlfriend to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were sitting there eating, and people.
Dodgers?
How
game
did you
was on.
get into Buffalo Wild Wings on a Friday night?
Hey, we waited for a little bit. There was people.
What was your wait?
What was the wait?
20 minutes. 20.
That's not
30
bad.
minutes?
That's not
Should
bad.
have stayed at the bar.
There was people. Well, we had.
I've tried.
couldn't,
I went to a
but,
Blackhawks playoff game and tried to eat at the bar, and that was just a.
We had so we're sitting there, and there's this guy like across the aisle from us watching the baseball game.
Who was it? The Dodgers and
Clap it, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, she's like, I am so glad you don't like sports, and like I was like, is it the World Series? Like I didn't even St. Louis.
That guy is probably
St.
having
Louis.
some sort of fantasy sport, or he
was all about St. Louis, and then towards the end of the game. There was like 4 of these guys, and one of them was the manager, the shift manager, the bald white dude. Because Buffalo Wild Wings, all the staff, all the servers are these little 19-year-old girls. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then the shift manager is this old balding white guy, and he's over there with these other guys high-fiving people for the St. Louis game. I'm like, we don't live in Missouri. What the fuck do you care how St. Louis is doing? I would think, and I guess it wasn't the World Series.
No, it's just the.
I want to say it was St. Louis and the LA Dodgers.
It was Dodgers and St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis is a little bit of a smaller market. They're not LA. They can't just throw money at it. So the fact that they're consistently in it, they're like the underdog.
They like the Rocky.
Yeah,
the Rocky.
And people like to root for their underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what that was. What do you say we take a break here, guys, and get into things?
All right. I need some rules. So it was my turn this week to bring the booze, and
Here.
It is Drinks on Monday, after all.
So I stopped at Kenwood this morning, and I figured I was going to do...
Kenwood Liquors in beautiful downtown Oak
Let's
Lawn.
give them a plug because they need the business. I went to, and I love going to Kenwood. I went there around 10 a.m.
I love the wood paneling.
You want to talk...
Open, crowded.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Parking lot suck.
All the the death of a salesman. What's his name? Biff.
Willie Loman.
Willie
Loman.
Loman getting their pint of whiskey before they make their rounds. you want to see a good slice of fucking Americana? You go to Kenwood Liquors at 10 a.m. on a Monday.
One of my favorite things to do. For those of you who don't know, Dan, Pat, and I, we used to live in an apartment in Blue Island above Haas Tavern. And next door was Corbeca's.
Where they shot every DMX video.
Dude, I would sit in the bathroom and just watch the Corbeca's parking lot at 5 o'clock on Friday.
It would be a melting pot. It was true America because
really was.
There was Mexicans, there was blacks, there was whites, and they were all converging on the Mishka's parking lot.
They were all there to get
Corbeca's.
Cash only.
Cash only.
No link
That's
card.
how the Greeks work it. That's how the Greeks do it over there.
They take cards now, but they charge $1 fee.
Oh yeah, okay. Because we ain't paying the fee. Why should we pay the service fee to fucking sell you booze?
Hike up all the prices and let people deal with it.
It's Blue Island.
So I go
Look at it, Jake. It's Blue Island.
So anyway, nice Chinatown fucking reference that went way over everyone's head. I had to stop and say that's a Polanski. I know Polanski when I hear it. Anyway, so yeah,
Robert Town.
Well, fuck you. You want to be a dick about it?
Yes, I do. Well, what'd you bring us today,
okay,
Pat?
so I go to Kenwood, 10 a.m. and I'm looking at what they got, and I noticed this. It was in the whiskey bourbon aisle. It was just about a foot down from the Jameson, which is what we're drinking. Spoiler alert, that's what we're drinking.
Jameson and a can of Old Style.
In cases of Old Style.
Just like the old days.
And
this is not my old days. This is Pat's old days.
Yeah.
You walk into a bar. I thought it was a shot of Jack. You
No,
walk into a bar.
I gave up Jack in
No,
my
I'm
early
talking
20s.
about 6 years ago.
No,
he gave
I gave
Old
up
Style and a shot of Jameson.
Pat and I got on the Jameson train right about the same time.
I gave up Jack in my early 20s because it used to make me think I'm a lot funnier than I am. And I'd get in all
I can't imagine what that's like.
I'd get in all kinds of trouble when I drink Jack Daniels. So I stay away from it now. Anyway, back to fucking being at Kenwood. So
Get to the point.
Jameson is right here, and then a couple things over, they sell this shit now that's called moonshine. It's like straight up called moonshine. And I almost bought that.
In the mason jar.
Yes, in a mason jar. But
That very commercialized fucking moonshine.
well, it's like Trader
Everclear.
Joe's moonshine. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's basically Everclear.
When you get the shit in a baby food jar,
well, yeah,
they ain't got no label on it.
My baby
Doesn't they have the Gerber baby on it?
My baby mom
makes going to work on Mondays real difficult.
My baby mama's dad, who's a farmer in Fort Wayne, Indiana, lives down the road from Amish people, and they give him rot gut. Fucking, they make their own booze, and he'll give it to him when I go over there.
Oh,
He's like, "You want to try it?" Oh, fuck yeah! We sit there in his garage and we fucking drink this like homemade shit. Anyway, back to the Kenwood stuff. So I was at Kenwood and I saw it, and there was different flavors, but then they had the one that was like, it was like 50% alcohol by volume. Or it was like, no, it was over 100 proof, but I mean, it was 50% alcohol by volume. And I was like, I'm looking at I'm doing the numbers. I'm being the educated consumer, reading the labels and stuff. I'm like, this is some strong shit. And I almost bought it, but I didn't. I went with Jameson because I went the easy win. However, I will say that next time I will get the
I'm
moonshine.
down with that.
First of all,
I like trying new things.
I ain't scared of no moonshine. Second of all, Jameson ain't that good Irish whiskey.
What do you like?
Anything else?
You know what?
Really?
No, you're one of these. You're just like all these other.
First of all, I don't like Irish whiskey. I prefer either Canadian whiskey or London whiskey
Bushmills is a
or
Protestant.
Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, Bushmills is a Protestant whiskey via Jimmy McNulty from The Wire.
Yeah.
You're just like all these other assholes who I know
Oh my!
who drank Jameson all through their 20s and drank every cheap whiskey through their 20s, and now they're 30 and they're into craft beer, so now they're into craft whiskey and
No,
booze
I
too.
mean, yeah, Rock
And-
Island Public House does not have Jameson. They have I tried to get a shot there,
And
it
Dave
was-
Brown used to drink the shit out of Jameson.
and I was like, yeah, I'll take a shot. We don't have Jameson. What do you have? Some shit. And I was
monkey
like,
shoulder scotch.
all right, I'll try that some shit. And I tried it, and I was like, fuck this.
I guarantee.
I would drink at that bar if they that I could actually drink.
The first field trip that the strike team goes on, we're going to go into a bar, and I'm going to buy both of you a shot of Crown Royal and a shot of Jameson.
Let's do it
And we're
now.
going to have a fucking taste test, and you're going to say to yourself, all right, you know what, Dan? You're right.
Crown
the Crown
Royal?
Royal is fucking good as
know.
I
fuck.
got no problem with Crown
I know.
Royal.
Crown Royal smooth. And I like being a bartender. When we get a new bottle of Crown Royal, I get a new bag for guitar picks.
Well, you know, when I was a kid, that's where I used to keep my fucking army guys in.
Oh,
was the
yeah.
Crown Royal bags. I got
You
no
like the
beef
bag.
with the Crown Royal.
No, it's not
It's
even a Crown Royal.
delicious.
It's the people who drank Jameson, drank all this garbage to their 20s, and now they think they're high stepping, and I only drink
Listen,
No,
craft.
I'm gonna make
distilled stuff.
this real easy.
there's not a lot of places that serve craft Irish whiskey.
I'm gonna make this real easy.
I like Jameson.
I like getting fucked up. Jameson
I drink
gets
it
me. Jameson gets me fucked up without any crazy behavioral abnormality.
Not like that New Amsterdam.
I can drink a shitload of Jameson, and I'm not trying to fucking fight people. All right, I'm singing car songs at the top of my lungs, and then my fucking dick doesn't work. I can live with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear his increase in audibility?
If
man?
I drink as much Jack Daniels as I drink Jameson, I'll be fucking ripping refrigerator doors off. I'm an asshole.
Oh, smash!
Yes, exactly.
You know,
If I drink as much New Amsterdam vodka, you've listened to that podcast. We've all listened. I can't fucking speak English. I'm high functioning on Jameson. I'll be able to go to Burger King after this.
you went to get Burger King after New Amsterdam too. We all know how that.
Oh, I don't know how that.
You're the only one who doesn't know how that.
The fucking grace of God alone, you fucking godless heathen.
Check our Facebook
I'm-
page. I put a straw poll up.
Let's work this shit in now. So this fucking asshole. I don't follow the fucking websites that have been created for me.
He's not getting notifications for his own podcast.
Dan Lynch,
I got other shit going on.
Dan Lynch created a straw poll that asked what late night snack Pat would be getting after our recording tonight.
I'm
Oddly
crashing
enough,
here tonight. I ain't going.
Pussy is not an option on there. I was absolutely shocked by that.
Maybe toss salad. We'll see how the night goes.
But what are we?
I put some of the late night eateries in the area.
Always
on
go
there.
with Burrito Station.
I like Jameson, but I like anything that gets me drunk, and I'll try anything new. But Jameson in my late 20s, Jameson, like for my 30th birthday, I took a picture. I'll post this picture to the
I think
strike
I
team.
was there, wasn't I?
Everybody was there.
Everybody that's listening to this podcast was
I was
there.
in your mom's house, wasn't
Yeah, but like all I got was every size bottle of Jameson, 12-year Jameson, the little half pints, the County McNulty and bunk drunk down by the railroad tracks.
12-year.
The 12-year, and it's all good. Like
No. Here's
I don't like when people get high stepping about.
Let me get high stepping a little bit on this.
Oh, here we
All right,
go.
so our late 20s, our friends are drinking Jameson, and so we drink it, and we don't know the difference
Well,
until
that's
somebody
a chicken
else.
or the egg. That's a chicken or the egg statement.
Until somebody else gives us a better whiskey or a better shooter or something that we like better than
Jameson is a good idea.
or we move on with our lives to where it doesn't fucking matter what we're drinking. Hey, listen. I was tasked this week to bring
listen.
booze. I was tasked to bring it.
You
so-
were telling like I brought booze.
No, I know exactly. So it's my week. It's my week to bring booze.
I like
What is
Jameson.
Pat O'Sullivan showing up with?
I would
Case-
old style. I was not surprised by this at all.
A case of Old Style and a bottle of
Cheers to
Jameson.
that.
You know, it's like
Cheers
the
to
old,
that.
drinking Jameson reminds me of the old days. Like, I'm a Canadian club man now, but Jameson isn't something I necessarily would sip on. Jameson reminds me of, like, shooting. Like you're at the bar with your buddies after work, out for a taste, and you just want to get drunk. You do a shot of
Jameson is like...
And bars have it. Like, you don't have to worry about them not having it.
When I drive home... 7-Eleven has it, too. Jameson... When I drink Jameson now, for the most part, it's when I'm coming home on a Sunday night, and I had a shitty night at work. And I stop at the 7-Eleven, and I get the fucking thing of Jameson. And I go home and kill it, and I text people I should.
It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Pat talks about how Jameson doesn't fuck him up, and I'm not saying vodka doesn't fuck me up, but I could function the next day after drinking quite a bit of vodka.
I'll be
right as rain is the phrase.
We will post the Facebook conversation tomorrow after Mike talks about.
Do you have work tomorrow?
Sleeping till 3. Yeah, of course I got work tomorrow.
All right.
Oh, you do?
I don't. Yeah.
No, sometimes you're off on Tuesdays.
I was supposed to be off, but I'm trying to pay off my credit card, so I'm working as much as I can.
Yeah, what do you say?
The struggle is real.
I just got to pay them down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you're incurring you see another debt in the horizon?
She listens to the show, but, I mean, I'm not scared.
I wouldn't be either.
I wouldn't be shocked if either one of you motherfuckers were pregnant. I'm looking at the right
now. like Junior from Arnold Schwarzenegger, like we're pregnant ourselves.
It's all twisted.
Like yes, like you. Not that like unconscious uncoupling shit like where we're having a baby. No, I'm talking about you two fucking having a C-section, having babies,
like adopting and raising an Asian child.
You don't need to adopt. I'll fucking sell you one. You
give me a good deal.
Wait. There was a girl at work who was talking to us about how her friend's mom was going to adopt the baby from China, but she had to bring like a suitcase full of cash to do it. I go, that doesn't sound like adoption. That sounds like you're buying a baby.
You ever watch those like porno videos on like X videos?
X videos and
where it's like some dude's wife getting fucked by someone else, and she's like, "Oh yeah, breed me." And you ever think like, what happens with those kids? Like they're probably fucking selling them. You know what I mean? Like that's probably why they got these crazy crack whores in these hotel rooms begging to get cream pied. Is because they're gonna turn around and sell the baby on Craigslist.
We're gonna edit all
all
the underworld stuff that the strike.
I didn't say it happened.
Noah. Money laundering, racketeering. It's gonna
be underground of Dan Lynch's mind. We don't want to go there.
It's like gambling. It's gonna be a special Christmas episode when we take a hiatus.
Hot in here.
Oh man, Mike is getting fucked up. All right, Mike's
shooting the Jameson.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back.
Take a break. Sober up.
We got some more stuff to talk.
Get a glass of water, will you?
Everybody, we're back. In 1984, Wes Craven unleashed Nightmare on Elm Street on us.
We're talking about this because it's Halloween.
Stop clicking the pen.
It's October.
It's Halloween time. Dan, I have a question for you. I'm going to start things off this way. Who is your favorite child molester, burn victim from the 80s? Freddy Krueger or Michael Jackson? They also both wore one glove.
If you were working on this, that's pretty good.
I've had that one for years. Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Keep that for your fucking set.
So 1984, that would have put me and you at 4. Pat, what, 3?
3. I'm a babe.
Well, let's round up to 5. I didn't know what a child molester was at 5 years old.
They never say child molester. They always refer to Freddy Krueger as a child killer. But they never explicitly say that he was a child molester.
Last year, in preparation for the 48-hour film fest, I went back and I watched all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and it's interesting how what we consider to be the mythology behind Freddy Krueger didn't really come in until the later movies.
It comes in around part 3, and I think that
What
goes
about him, the son of 1,000 maniacs, and like all that shit?
It's all part 3, and and that's why people are so weirded out by part 2, because part 2 is so different. But all the rules weren't in place.
We're gonna come back to part 2.
Oh, we'll come back to part 2. We're just kind of doing a nice overview on things. I mean, the first one is probably the best, but my favorite has to be 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 is is when it's on all cylinders.
I mean, they as kids they take on a different type of connotation. Like they really give us people to root for in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I like when the heroes have the same abilities as the villain.
What was big for me with Nightmare on Elm Street was the fact that it was funny. Is that you don't hear Michael Myers cracking jokes. Jason Voorhees doesn't crack jokes. For me, like as a kid, I'm scared by a movie, but if I could laugh, then I could make it through the scary parts.
And like Dan said, when you have kids that are fighting back against them, actually Nancy in the first one too.
But that's why I think Nightmare on Elm Street is my series. It is my, and I love that I didn't come up with the idea for this segment. It was totally Mike. Like that, I don't give a fuck about Friday the 13th. I think that shit's stupid. I think Jason Goes. You know what a horrible Friday the 13th fan I am. I think Jason Goes to Hell is the best one. You know,
it's one of the best. I'll agree with that.
It's a tight action movie.
But if you look at like the online polls shit, they hate it. I think it's Jason Goes to Hell.
7, and 7 is garbage.
It's all Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, because Cronenberg pops up in the first 2 minutes.
Terrible movie.
You know, and then other than that,
bit off topic, but Jason Goes to Hell reminds me of this movie called Shocker.
Wes Craven?
Another Wes Craven joint.
Shocker! Paul Stanley
on the theme song, yeah.
Fucking Peter Berg was the main character.
Strike Team will be bringing you a Kiss show very soon.
Is that Blue Island Theater still open? Because the Strike Team should host a fucking screening of Shocker.
Shocker, Shrieker the Mutilated, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Not Shrieker the Mutilated. It's fucking god-awful.
All right, we'll talk about...
All right. So anyway, back to Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, that was my go-to series. I love that series. I had a Freddy poster, a full-size like Freddy poster on the back of my bedroom door growing up.
Which is awesome that they marketed a child molester to kids in the 80s via toys.
Dude, they had. I was thinking about this the other day. They had Alien toys.
In 79. They took that thing off the shelves because it was too scary.
But no, I remember being in high school, like real little. They had Terminator 2 toys. Right. R-rated movie. What R-rated movie toys do they market towards children today? That's crazy. Well, they had RoboCop toys.
They have no
RoboCop toys.
They have no toys for kids anymore because kids play video games. You know who buys toys? People our age.
Yeah.
That's why NECA and have you seen those little Kenner size Escape from New York and Friday the 13th action figures?
They have Escape from New York toys like
they
that?
They have 2 Snake Plisskens. They have the Trick or Treat guy.
What 2 Snake Plisskens do they have?
They have one with a jacket and one without.
Oh, jeez.
And they have a Jason Voorhees and they have a Freddy Krueger, and they're all Kenner size.
I think there's an alien, and then there's the characters on the alien ship too.
That was actually those alien toys you're talking about were supposed to be released in '79, but because the big one was pulled off shelves, the big 12-inch alien, they never produced them. A company about 3 years ago mass produced these little Kenner size toys of like Ripley and Dallas. And Yaphet Kotto and
all right. Anyway,
toys. Yaphet Kotto toys.
Did you guys see any of the Nightmare on Elm Streets in the movie theaters?
I seen
4
and 5.
Okay,
4 and 5 in the theater.
So growing up, I used to spend weekends at my godparents' house, and they had a cheater box where they would get all the cable channels and all the fucking whatever. And I can distinctly remember the weekend that I went up there. They lived right by the Magic Kiss sign off fucking 94 and Foster. Okay, I distinctly remember the weekend I went up there, and Friday the 13th Part 3 was on repeat the whole time I was up there. And did I see it in the theater? No.
Friday the 13th?
No, I'm sorry. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 was on repeat that whole entire weekend. That was my entry point into the series. And no, it wasn't. But it was pay-per-view. So it wasn't the theater, but it wasn't video. It was pretty early on.
I saw 6 at the show. My dad, I would have been 11. That was 91, 92. My dad took my sister and I to see Part 6, and we had to see that one in the show because the ending was in 3D.
3D, oh yeah.
And I mean, that was the first 3D movie that I was old enough to go see. Went and saw it in Ford City 14. I'm sure an empty. I can still remember going. I think I still have the glasses somewhere because I'm pretty good about holding on to junk like that.
Drove past Evergreen Theater to Fort City.
Nobody goes to Evergreen Park. Evergreen was gone by then, I
The
think.
Plaza?
I think the Plaza was
was
gone by
The
then.
last thing I remember seeing at Evergreen was like
91.
Transformers.
No.
Evergreen, I saw Masters of the Universe, and I also saw RoboCop 2.
People Under the Stairs came out in, what, 93?
No, that was 90.
I don't know.
Anyway.
People Under the Stairs was 90, 91.
Basically, a remake of Last House on the Left with black people.
But it's sillier.
One of my-
That's another one. It's an action movie more than a horror movie, but it's
HBO
awesome. And it's
HBO
awesome
my
all the way
youth.
through.
Woo!
Yeah.
Foo.
Foo.
One of my
Foo.
one
Well, we sure got the names, don't we?
of my earliest memories is watching A Nightmare on Elm Street on video cassette with my dad. So let's say that it came out in 1985, 86. I was about 6. My brother was 3, and my mother was livid that my dad showed me these movies. I still have dreams about these people. I'm
Freddy
still-
Krueger?
Oh, Freddy
Or Amanda
Krueger,
Wiss.
Jason Voorhees, and Michael Myers. I
But
still
see,
have
Freddy
dreams about
Krueger
them.
wasn't scary to me because he made jokes. Like, it was funny.
Ice scary in
It
that
broke
first
the
one.
tension. It broke the ice. It made the whole thing so palatable for a child to watch. You know,
You
and
do kind of
The
like
first
Freddy.
movie, there's not very many jokes.
I don't like the first movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I love the first
I don't
movie.
think the first movie has some iconic shit in it,
There's
but like
not a lot of people die in the first movie. Either.
no, I don't give a shit about the first one. The second one I love. Do we want to do the second one now? Let's do the second one now.
What are we waiting to the 45
Yes,
minute mark to
exactly.
do
The second
one?
movie is probably my favorite because when I was in, I always knew it was like the gay one.
The homosexual undertone.
We used to make jokes about.
You go to a gay bar in the movie.
I was so naive.
Not only a gay bar, but a cruising, like where they mistake like just general run of the mill gay people for like hardcore leather enthusiasts.
I never.
And it had a touch of cruising in it. And I remember, like, okay, so I was in my
Speak louder, Pat.
I was in my mid-20s, and my mom used to still give me Easter baskets. And she got me an
You're
Easter...
in your 30s now. She doesn't give you...
No, I
baskets.
forget that.
Not
shit
after
growing
what
up.
she fucking. Not after we did the front room 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Chicken fries, ladies and gentlemen.
So my mom gets me an Easter basket one year, and it was when I
I saved that Cadbury.
I had
egg,
just
huh?
gone out the night before and brought home Sarah Kaufman. So this girl who I dated for like 4 years. I probably should have said her last name. So I bring home this broad that I made at Brewmaker's, and like I wake up in the morning, and my mom's like, "I'm going out, but here's your Easter basket." And Sarah's like, "Your mom still gives you an Easter basket?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And it's a candy, and in it was a DVD of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 because she saw it for like $5 at Walmart, and she was like, "Well, he likes horror movies, okay, whatever." And Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, like, it's if you want to look at like, okay, if you're gonna do a series of movies about dreams, okay, it's the most kind of like cerebral, I think, of all of them. Even though, okay, yeah, granted, it's very it drips with homoeroticism.
We've been on a side note. The girl who's in it, Lisa Myers, shows up in Hellraiser 4.
Okay.
Just so you know.
We'll read
Ladies
the
and gentlemen,
Hellraiser
yeah.
next.
Check the show notes. Mike and Pat will be really getting into deep with their knowledge.
You know,
of
Nightmare on Elm
horror
Street
movies.
2, like, I was so naive. I knew there was something weird about it, and I couldn't put my finger on it until I got older. I always knew it was
Jesse
something
likes
strange.
fucking boys.
He likes Grady, who I watched Vamp over the weekend, which I don't know how I didn't see that on HBO a million times as a kid, with Grace Jones.
My aunt saw it and said that it was the scariest movie she ever saw, so I always stayed away from it.
I remember being scared of the commercials as a kid. It's silly and it's fun. It stars the little kid from Meatballs, Grady, Long Duck Dong, and Jack Klompus from Seinfeld. That's who's in this movie. Like, if you haven't seen Vamp, you gotta watch. It's on Netflix right now. Watch Vamp.
Check the show notes. Comment, people. Comment
Retweet.
on our YouTube page. We will get back to you.
But I do love the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I can't tell you the first time I saw one of them. I remember my mom watched it because my uncle had gone to the show to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was younger and a little bit cooler, so he saw it at the show. Because it got released in November, kind of limited release, but word of mouth kind of got it going. I remember we having it on video and watching the beginning of it on accident because my dad thought he put in Never Cry Wolf, the movie about Toad from American Graffiti living with wolves in Iceland or something.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
And the reason he put in Nightmare on Elm Street because they both began with N.
Yeah.
Because that was back, we had the VCR in the basement, and we had a splitter that ran it up to the bedroom, too. So if you wanted to put a movie in, you had to run down in the basement, which I didn't like to do because my mom would have us watching it. It's exactly where the monsters live. Yeah. Or, like, unemployed single men.
You know, as much as we're going to sit here and romanticize Nightmare on Elm Street, I think what it comes down to is you have, like, a 7-movie series where, like...
8 with Freddy versus Jason.
Okay, so you have a 7-movie series where 3 of them are... So you got the first one. Okay, the first 4 are good. 5 and 6 are shit.
New Nightmare is awesome.
No, hold on. Stop it right here. One of the things that me and Joe Swanberg, and I hate to bust out my Joe Swanberg stories on the podcast, but one of the things that me and
He's going to, though, ladies and gentlemen.
I will. One of the things that me and Joe Swanberg bonded over in film school at Columbia was New Nightmare.
I did see New Nightmare at the show.
And how fucking brilliant it was.
I made my dad
especially
take
at the
see
time,
New Nightmare.
because you didn't see... That got really fucking meta, and you never saw anything like that at the time. Now, when you watch it, you're like, okay, well, that's kind of an interesting concept for a horror movie. But at the time, like, that was. I'll say it was groundbreaking.
When
I saw New Nightmare is probably the most. It's like
when I was doing my research,
man, and Head of Langenkamp looked fine.
When I was doing my research on a Nightmare on Elm Street podcast, Wes Craven had that idea way before New Nightmare.
Oh, yeah, that was probably like number 4 for
that
him.
was
he sat on that shit.
Portions of it he wanted to include in part 3, but I'm not going to go into all the rewrites because I read a portion of the script.
Well, that's the next conversation.
I read. There's a lot of changes to it. Dream Warriors is pretty good right now. How could it have been better? Possibly. I mean, I like the darker undertones that it could have been set in. But anyway, Wes Craven had the idea well before New Nightmare came out.
Yeah.
I have read the novelization of the original script for Nightmare on Elm Street. For those who don't know, Wes Craven wrote a script for Nightmare on Elm Street 3 that was much darker. The kids were portrayed as much younger. And eventually Frank Darabont, who's Mr. Walking Dead now.
Or The Mist, which is one of the best horror movies of the past 10 years.
Well, I love that Frank Darabont still goes back and does interviews and talks about Nightmare on Elm Street.
First of all, Frank Darabont has adapted some of the best Stephen King novels.
Well,
he is not doing much.
Mitch, did you miss when I mentioned The Mist?
Yes,
The Mist is
he did he's taking a story written by Stephen King and putting it on the screen, and just like the Shawshank Redemption, the Green Mile, he does it word for word. He is not changing anything.
But look how many people failed doing Stephen King adaptations.
Stephen King failed doing Stephen King adaptations.
That's what I love about the Nightmare on Elm Street series too. Is that if you look at the auxiliary directors, there's a better pedigree than any other horror movie franchise.
Tobe Hooper?
The worst...
No. You have Rennie Harlan?
Tobe Hooper did...
Toby Hooper.
Yeah, did one of the Freddy's Nightmares, I think.
Well, whatever. We're not talking about... We're talking about Rennie Harlan. We're talking about the guy that did...
Rennie Harlan, that was one of his first American movies.
The guy that did Nightmare on Elm Street 2 did the Final Countdown, which is the 80s crazy, the Russians are going to fucking kill us all movie. Like, what? What are we fucking pointing at? Just talk.
No, we'll talk about it.
Hey, the audience cannot see you point, Mike.
That's why I'm just pointing at you, motherfucker.
I think Nightmare on Elm Street has a better pedigree than fucking Friday the 13th or
the worst Friday the 13th or the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie is more imaginative and more fun than the best Friday the 13th.
What do you consider the worst to be?
The worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie?
Ooh, interesting.
Because they're all good. People don't like 5. 5's pretty good. But I would say 5 or 6. I'd probably say 6.
Yeah,
6 is the weakest one.
But 6 has the Breckenmeyer, the video game kill scene.
It's still pretty okay.
Yeah, there's nothing that's unpalatable.
Good soundtrack.
Horrible.
Good soundtrack. Goo Goo Dolls, and when they still wanted to be the replacements.
I mean,
the Junk Monkeys.
6, they kind of take it.
Houdini.
They try and do a little too much lore with it than they need to. Like the three demons visiting Freddy
Well, I
to
mean,
give him the powers to.
that's. I mean,
It's
Jason
trying.
Powell's
It's
a
trying.
snake with
It-
the fucking.
It's trying very hard. The same way Halloween 6 tries very hard and
Is that the
ultimately
Paul
falls
Rudd one?
short. Yeah.
I
saw
mean,
that
Bob
too.
Sylvester was talking about the
producer's cut.
Yeah,
Which just came out finally officially on that Blu-ray set.
Paul
that came out.
Rudd's young work.
Young Paul Rudd. I do like young. I think young
And-
Paul Rudd would play me.
Remember-
We got a lot of homoeroticism going on in this podcast.
Brother
Because
Kane,
we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Brother
That's why.
Kane had
Paul
the theme
Rudd.
song for that movie and Fools Shine On, which you should all check out on
Put it-
Spotify right now.
Put that in the show notes.
Yes.
And we'll have it playing on the back.
My bad. Hey, my
Somebody
glass is empty.
taking notes on what's going in the show notes for this.
I do. I do the show
Pat
notes.
does the show notes.
No, Pat
Everybody's
says
got their job.
Pat-
I do the
Send
shit
a
work.
message.
That's the shit work that I do. Is go through the.
I have to edit this garbage. I have to listen to you people
You edit
talk.
it. You know, this is what Mike's editing fucking procedure is. I'm gonna fucking cut in a bunch of uncopyrighted songs that's gonna fucking delay this shit's release.
Hey.
That's Mike's big fucking contribution.
freestockmusic.com. Put in the show notes. Put in the.
I got-
We use our music.
I got Mike Donnelly writing. Mike Donnelly wrote a bunch of shit. for
Okay,
us.
we're all
We're gonna
good.
get a theme.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope there's horns. Are there horns?
I
It's
told
gotta
him.
be triumphant.
I told him to make it sound like the theme song to Checking Out.
No, it's
Checking
gotta be
Out
some
Steve-
John
Dr.
Williams
Steve
shit.
Rule.
It's gotta be
that's
John
a little
Williams.
too-
No, but it's
little too thematic.
Hey, love yourself.
Let's talk about
What do you
Nightmare
mean a
on
little
Elm Street.
too thematic? No, we should have fucking hero music.
Hey, you-
Nightmare on Elm Street had a great score.
Hey, remember the 7th Friday the 13th with the telekinetic?
Which, yes, that was supposed to be Freddy versus Jason, the
That
original
was-
scripts.
The telekinetic really. That's when
They kind of wasted it, though.
Friday the 13th gives a good protagonist to Jason Voorhees.
But it's still kind of weak sauce.
You know,
it's one of my favorites.
I was
Not the favorite, but it's up there.
I was spoiled with Friday the 13th. I was ruined on Friday the 13th because my first exposure to that series was on USA Up All Night, where everything was fucking
With
shots.
Rhonda or Gilbert?
It depended on what night it was.
Rhonda was Fridays and
Gilbert
Gilbert
was
was Saturdays.
And I guess what? I didn't do shit either on those nights. I fucking sat at home and watched USA Up All Night.
I love Duckman.
So,
Oh, man, Duckman.
you know, fuck it.
Jason Alexander.
So anyway, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th.
Hey, we're taking away from the pedal.
Friday, yeah, exactly. Fucking recognize, bitches. Friday the 13th was
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Friday the 13th was a series that I had my most exposure with during USA Up All Night, and
You know what I love
It was
about
always-
USA Up All Night?
it was always chopped to shit. So I was like, these
Emmanuel.
movies don't make any fucking sense because it's
They had to
like
take out whole parts.
exactly, and I'd be like, what the fuck just happened? I hate these movies.
I know that we jumped over to Halloween, but I remember watching a Fox cut of Halloween that added scenes to it.
That
Oh,
was
that was
the
good.
original. It was when Halloween got sold.
Spit it out, man.
When Halloween got sold in the
Look at
late
this
70s.
motherfucker criticizing fucking Mike Vanderbilt's oratory
You
skills.
better recognize.
You guys know I bought a Laserdisc just so I could spend $100 on
You
it.
still got that laser disc?
I still have my fucking.
What
I spent. It's broken. I spent $100 on a Halloween special edition so I could hear the commentary and see all the extra footage that you can buy for $5 at Walmart. Now.
You know, I bought my Laserdisc player so that I could fucking follow Kevin Smith movies. What do you do that for?
you don't know what he's doing.
Just to be a jerk.
So
Kevin Smith.
that footage.
Tusk, are we gonna do our Tusk? Let's do our Tusk
That
segment
footage.
right now.
That footage was shot.
All right, we're getting a little sloppy, guys. Let's get it together. Why don't we take a quick break? Let's recognize, and then we'll come back.
All right. Oh, and we're back. So, what we've established from the last segment was that our favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movies are probably Part 3, Dream Warriors, and Part 4, The Dream Master. Part 3 is interesting because Wes Craven came back, wrote a script that was much darker than the original, or than what made it to screen, and actually made its way into a novelization because they used the original shooting script before Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell changed it. And
But
what's
what made
interesting
Part
about Part
4?
4 was that we brought in an Australian director named Rennie Harlan. So
Didn't he do Cutthroat Island?
yes.
Well,
he,
if you want to be a dick about it, he also did Die Hard 2.
he also did Long Kiss Goodnight.
What happened?
Oh,
What happens
Shane
in Die Hard
Black,
2?
one of the best. Da-na-na. Hey, I'm freaking earnest with all my women. In Chicago, I'm Frank, and in New York, I'm Ernest. You want to start busting out Long Kiss Goodnight quotes like a bitch.
But Elm Street 3 was what? That came out in '87, so that was the one I remembered seeing the previews on TV. And at that point, that's when Freddy became the cultural icon. And we've never seen a villain like Freddy Krueger since Freddy Krueger. Like, we got Darth Vader, Freddy Krueger, and who have we had recently?
I think it's interesting when they try to make, like, Tobin Bell and Saw be like, oh, but he's such an enigmatic fucking villain. It's
No.
like, no.
He ain't shit compared to
Exactly.
Freddy Krueger.
No, you're right.
They don't need to
But they try to do
the Saw
that.
movies are totally different.
No, but
They're trying
what
to
he
I
do
don't
said-
consider them horror movies. I consider them thrillers.
I agree. No, I agree what you're saying. And I agree what you're saying is that they're
Can't agree with us both.
well, no, because you're both making different statements. What they're doing is they're trying to say that, like, you're right. They've never made a fucking killer that, like, resonates and carries on. Maybe Leprechaun, because that was kind of a franchise.
It was there.
maybe
It tried.
Maybe we'll give it that. Or Chucky, but that's only because they got into self-parody with the last two movies.
Right.
Well, that's what, 4 movies, wasn't it?
No, just the last two. Just Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky.
Well, there's other ones after that.
No, there's only
No.
one more. It's that one tried to get back to its darker
That
roots.
that one was fucked up. Like, what is that called? I know what you're talking about. 'cause
Return of Chucky or something.
Yeah. But he pops up, but they don't show him. They did the same thing with the fucking Leprechaun reboot, where you're like, dude, who gives a fuck?
I once
He's
watched
doing it wrong.
Howling 7, which had more line dancing than most werewolf movies, and I don't think it had any fucking werewolves. I asked they were trying to be edgy and weird, but it was just dumb. But Nightmare on Elm Street 3, favorite kill in Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
The fucking
Pat O'Sullivan, favorite kill.
when he gets the veins ripped out of his
the
fucking wrist,
puppet.
and he turns into a puppet.
That was in the original script, but it was
Right.
a little darker.
You know what? Before I answer, I want to kind of talk about it. In the first Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger doesn't actually come out and kill people. He kind of like tricks them into someone else killing them or to them committing suicide.
3 is when we first kind of saw Freddy really utilizing like their interests to kill them. In
Right.
the first one, it was always with the glove, and in the second one was kind of with the glove. In
No.
the third one, you really start to see him. The kid who got killed, like the Puppet Master style,
He
like
falls
kind of
off.
saying-
He falls off the roof. They're in a psychiatric ward.
Can I be completely honest with you? I will go on record right now on this
Yeah, lie to
podcast
us, please.
and say that the first pair of breasts that I've ever seen were that nurse.
The nurse.
From Nightmare on Elm
What's the
Street
matter,
Part 3.
Joey? Feeling
I mean,
bad?
unless there's some repressed memories that I'm not accessing right now, I want to say that there's a very, very,
Those-
very good chance that was the first pair of titties I have ever seen. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
I used to watch Emmanuel on
You want to talk about a saga?
Of course you
You
do.
would stay up all night.
You want to talk about a saga? You want to talk about a character like that rivals Freddy Krueger, Emmanuel?
Why do you get your shoes off?
Dude, fucking
Where's
Dan
your
Lynch.
fucking sandals
Dan
at?
Lynch, tell us about your fucking Emmanuel experience as a 9-year-old.
So Freddy
Ladies and
Krueger.
gentlemen, please vote on our straw poll. Whatever food comes in first, that's what Pat will be throwing up the next Tuesday after.
Oddly enough, the answer is also Emmanuel.
Emmanuel goes in space.
So, you want to talk about Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3?
Fuck, come on. When Alice is
That's 4.
when Alice takes on her brother's power, and she's doing the fucking whole
The drama
montage with the fucking nunchucks, and she's taking on everybody else's dream power,
And she's got
and
the
she
fucking-
becomes, and she goes, fucking A.
That's brilliant.
Come on.
You're not talking about when
That-
she's
hold on,
You're talking about when she's getting ready.
Hold on.
When she's getting ready to do battle.
This is
the
my
Rambo
point,
scene.
is that I think that there's a lot of people that when they talk about what they love about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, a lot of that is hinged on the fucking Dramarama song. I'm sorry, but that is a huge aspect of that movie.
Can we include
Try
a
to
link to
think
this
about
into
try
the show
to
notes?
think about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and not think about that fucking song. That song is like You want to talk? I don't know if Rennie Harlan got fucking lucky and he just picked this tune to put in it, and he didn't realize it was one of the best songs ever fucking written. But there is a correlation between that movie, the way people remember it, and that fucking song.
Look at that soundtrack, though. You had the Vinnie Vincent.
Who gives a shit? Dramarama.
You had Dramarama. You had a Sinead O'Connor tune on there. And you had the Go West tune, Don't Be Afraid of Dreams, which turned into...
Don't try to talk to me about Go West.
Part of the score, which is when you were talking about the scene where Alice does that total Rambo. Which one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever, when Alice does the Rambo thing and is getting prepared for battle against Freddy Krueger. And
Nate, what else are you going to talk about from that movie? You're going to talk about the cockroach scene? Like, okay, think about it. Like, what stands out in your mind?
There's like 3 people that died in that movie.
What stands out? No, the black girl that fucking gets the oxygen sucked out.
There's a lot more than
okay, what stands out in your mind? Everyone said part 3 or part 4. What's your favorite movie, part 3 or part 4? Okay, let's think about part 4. What really stands out in your mind about that movie? That fucking song, that montage, okay? And then that's it. All the karate shit. All the
song in my
all the karate shit and that song, but they did that so well that it trumps 7 other fucking movies to where when you have to talk about what you think your favorite might be, it's 100% Dramarama. You're talking about Dramarama. It's that fucking song.
And 3 and 4 have a continuity with the hero.
Yeah, they do. They have a really strong continuity.
Which is why people like Nightmare or Friday the 13th. 4, 5, 5 not so much, but 4 and 6 because you had the Tommy Jarvis.
But the shit
you like
gives a fuck.
4 and 6 are great.
Yeah, they are great. I enjoy them.
5's garbage, but it's great when you have a hero and villain. It's Star Wars. It's hero's journey. You need to have a hero and a villain that are just about equally matched. It's Batman and Joker. It's why Joker is the greatest comic book villain of all time. I think.
I agree. I enjoy the Joker.
And in a way, Freddy Krueger is a comic book villain.
Yeah.
Especially by 4. He's wisecracking. Like they tried to get away from the whole child molester aspect by 4 because they knew they wanted to sell toys and T-shirts and shit to kids.
It's the song.
The sexy Freddy ladies costume. We'll include that in the show notes.
Yeah, I got pics.
But I'm going to throw it in. If anybody's interested, there's a Freddy's Nightmare episode that shows the trial of Freddy Krueger.
The first one,
watching. And you got to check out, we'll put it in the show notes, Wes Craven's original script for Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It's a little bit different, but it's worth a read if you're a fan. There's also, in that same novelization that I have, they novelize 1, 2, 3, and then they have a little, like, prequel of... which has Freddy Krueger cruising around in a pervert van.
Can we talk a little bit about like novelizations? Like why are people reading novelizations?
Because back then it was a way to make money.
Somebody has to buy some at the book fair.
They realized people would buy it, and it was a way for filmmakers to make money before the writers would.
Before Kickstarter came out, this is how people finance films.
Yeah. If you look at John, oh God, I'm not gonna remember his last name. It's not John Pearson. The other guy that did Night of the Living Dead.
John Russo.
John Russo financed a lot of his. Dan Lynch just fucking picked up and went to the bathroom.
Fuck you guys.
Okay, John Russo financed a lot of his movies through the novelizations because you could get money up front. He had just written the script. How hard was it for him to turn around and write the fucking book? You know what I mean? And it was guaranteed income. You get an advance. You get the writer's advance. Whatever that writer's advance is, it's like $5,000 based on book sales. It's not the same way the record industry works, where they give you money up front. But you'll probably never see anything on the back end because you're never going to sell enough to make up the promotional budget. Anyway, that's what they used to do with novelizations and screenplays.
A couple episodes ago, I talked about how I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the drive-in, and I also saw Return of the Living Dead. So I wanted to do some research on how Return of the Living Dead came about, because it does reference George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. And
John Russo, though.
But no, John Russo owns the rights to the quote-unquote The Living Dead.
Yes.
So he could make any movie that, maybe not in direct continuity, but references Night of the Living Dead, as long as he used the title of The Living Dead. He owned that part.
Secret Origin.
And I thought that was very odd, because Romero has Night, Dawn, Day and then all the garbage that came afterward.
Road.
John Russo has Living Dead. He can put Living Dead in the title of anything.
All of the filmmaking books that I read growing up, when like I was still in high school, so I couldn't go to film school, but I could go to the bookstore and order whatever I wanted or go to the library. Were John Russo, because that dude has written a bunch of filmmaking books too, and like he talks about like that shit, like how to fuck over George Romero, basically, like that's what he does, like
Nowadays you can publish...
how to make money on the novelization. Hey. That's how he funded Candy. I don't know if it was Candyman. It was some Tony Todd movie. This is a movie, The Majorettes, which I've never seen. But that's how he funded his movies through the novelization.
Return of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead 2 are both better than Land of the Dead. I'll say it right now.
Who is the male lead in Land of the Dead?
Was it John Leguizamo?
Simon
No.
Baker?
Yes. There you go. Who never went on to
Dennis Hopper? No,
Hopper's there.
The Mentalist. The Mentalist. Come on, CBS.
Oh, there
How
you
old
go.
are you?
Every old
you
person,
watch CBS.
Every old person watches CBS.
You watch Big Bang, don't you?
I do.
I know.
I do. Anyway, it's not. I just want to chime in. It's not hard to write a book. It's hard to get a book published.
But you already it's already.
So, if anybody has any like ties or like any connections, the strike team would put together a book, kind of like a collaboration. And if you can help us get it published, we'll knock that down in a booze-filled weekend.
Here's what you do. There's this website that you go to where I've bought books off this before by independent authors. You send them your manuscript, and then when people want to order your book, they order it off this website, and they'll print one at a time. Now, here's the thing. Instead of spending like $19.99 on a book, it's going to cost them $30. But for us, all we have to do is give them the manuscript, and then they print to order. And that's it. And there's websites that do this. All you got to do is fill out the fucking paperwork online. It's real easy. That's how Christian Pecolini, the fucking Sinister Muse dude that wrote all the Skinhead books, that's how he got his first book published. Like, you couldn't... Now you go on Amazon. You had to go to this one website, but whatever. A link is a link.
Nobody wants to read my memoirs.
Yeah, and it's very easy to do.
We'll post...
Anytime you want to write a book, Dan Lynch.
We'll post links to our manuscripts in the show notes. Pat, you work on the show notes for this episode, right?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Fuck. Not tomorrow, though.
There's a lot of show notes. That,
I know. We're dropping knowledge.
You're going to actually have to re-listen to the podcast.
I do it all. Dude, are you kidding me? This is what I jerk off to.
You got a lot of nerve talking to me about... I don't even listen to this shit.
I do.
You listen to my sound on my own voice.
I do.
Check sound
Wait,
quality.
do you guys seriously not listen to this podcast?
I listened to the first half.
No, I listen to all of them. Are you kidding me?
The past couple times when I'm editing it now.
As an engineer, you got a little more extra time.
This is fuck music for me. Like, seriously, I want to like lay some pipe while listening to Mike and Dan and Pat
to his own voice.
Yes, exactly.
He's got a lot of nerve calling me a sociopath. Jesus Christ.
Ladies and gentlemen, soon it's the Pat O'Sullivan podcast.
All right,
coming at you hard and fast.
We're gonna take a break.
We're gonna take a break.
I hope you enjoyed us talking about. I think we talked about the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Did we?
I enjoyed listening to YouTube.
Favorite kill? Favorite kill? Favorite kill?
Favorite kill of all time?
Of all time?
No, the girl turning into the roach.
Oh, my favorite kill.
Favorite kill of all time.
From part 4, 8 is enough chick.
She wasn't on 8 is enough.
Yes, she was. Look it up.
Langenkamp
was on Just a 10 of Us.
No. That girl was on 8 is enough. That chick, she wasn't that slutty, but she was real slutty in part 4. And she turned into a roach. And I like slutty girls turning into bugs.
God, favorite kill? That's a tough one. You know what?
The waterbed scene.
Glenn, I thought about the waterbed scene with Joey. Glenn going into the bed. Johnny Depp.
Does the gym teacher actually die from getting his ass smacked too much?
That's happened to me yet. You ever slap with a wet towel? That happens to me at work every fucking day, and I've never died.
Oh, Hermano!
I like when the bird blows up in part 2.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
The house gets too hot.
That's when I put the heat up at 90 when I come home and I'm fucking drunk and wake up in the middle of the night.
I love in Jason Goes to Hell where they like the SWAT just comes.
Yes,
This one just comes and blows him up.
There's a fight in the kitchen that happens between that one little dude and like his big overbearing fat wife. And there's a fight. Like Jason Goes to Hell is like that should be a class that you have to take if you're gonna make fucking Dimension straight to DVD movies.
Jesus Christ! I went to see that at
Ford City
14 opening day, Friday, August 13th, 1992, 93.
Well,
our producer will look that up.
Yeah.
We'll include it in the show notes.
Packed theater, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody works for a living, apparently. And
just like the Cubs game.
It was awesome. Like, you want to talk about this? My dad took us. Like, that poor man had to see Hellraiser 3, Jason Goes to Hell.
Did you buy your popcorn when you went to the theater?
I always ate popcorn when I was there because then I get sick.
Yeah.
That's why we all have diverticulitis now.
I saw Jason Goes to Hell at Ford City, and all I remember is that there was this group of people behind us that were different than me and my mom. And we sat there and like I sat there and I listened to the commentary track, and it developed my love for MST3K and like that culture, and I was just like, this is I never want to see a movie again where there isn't this group of people sitting.
I can't remember. There was quite a bit.
They were like yelling. They were getting so fucking angry.
There was quite a bit of commentary during the movie. But the one I remember, it's not even that funny, but like in the diner when the girl jumps over the counter and grabs a shotgun. No, she grabs a shotgun, and the guy goes, "God damn, that's a double barrel." And I'll always remember that. Like, every time I watch the movie, I hear in my head, God damn, that's a double barrel. Because that's when she gets
real action-y, is that dinner scene.
Oh, and it's great. You know, it kind of sucks that it's not Jason in a hockey mask, but it's so much fun. Like, how could you not enjoy that
That
movie?
was the first one I saw in the theater, and then one of my best friends growing up was a very big Jason fan, so he was always trying to preach the gospel of Friday the 13th. Oh, we got to watch this one, we got to watch that one. It just never did it for me. It just never did it for me. That movie fucking clicked on like every level.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some obscure shit.
And we're back.
We came back quick on that one.
Oh, there ain't no time for a break.
Quick to the trigger on that one.
Monday night, son.
You're a podcast producer and a lover all in the same man.
I can't help it. It's just how I
do that shot. Don't just like finger that shot, Mike. Take that shot. Put that shot in
Put
your
it to
mouth.
your lips.
Oh, there we go. How much?
Now that's like old days, right?
How much Jameson is actually left?
3 shots.
That's nothing.
That's amazing. It's amazing how quickly it goes down when you're.
We went through that bottle, but we're all pretty wasted too. Like,
I love October.
We had a very good night. I like October too. I like the hoodies.
You guys like baseball in October?
Baseball October is the only baseball I can fucking watch.
Oh,
it's earthquake weather.
It's exciting.
The 6 months before October suck.
It's actually exciting.
No. Pour a little in his, pour a little in mine.
There's not much left.
End it.
There's
Pat cheaped out. He bought the 5th.
How much New Amsterdam did you bring to the table, motherfucker?
You know what? I thought we learned our lesson after we drank that.
I thought we weren't ever drinking spirits again. I thought that's what the rule was.
I never thought that was going to happen.
You know what? The show's called Drinks on Monday. The show is 3 friends drinking spirits, talking shit, getting to each other's business, and talking about the stuff we like.
And Dan, look at me. Look at me.
I'm looking at you.
When it's time to party, we will party hard.
Oh. It's a quote from singer-songwriter Andrew.
If you don't, I don't think there's anybody that could possibly.
Make sure you include a link to that in the show notes, Pat.
Fuck you.
But
fucking emasculate me in front of my audience. What kind of fucking...
Pat has a new relationship. We're not going to go into detail.
No, we can go. Ask me whatever you want right now.
I don't want to ask you nothing.
Exactly. I don't care. Fuck you. I don't care.
You know what?
Hater. Hater.
So, comment on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Tweet us on Twitter. Email us
on LinkedIn.
Why don't we have a LinkedIn profile? Whose job is that?
drinksonmonday@gmail.com. Send us emails. We got one email so far.
And
We're running
ready
out
to
of fucking
have
material.
a viewer segment.
Also, we're looking to bring in guests. Like, if you want to fucking make an appearance.
Whenever McCullough comes to town, McCullough's in.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, shit. We got to vote on that before we put that on the podcast.
2-3, you lost. Like, dude, McCullough's
I put
in.
McCullough. McCullough's
Oh, my
funny.
God.
McCullough's always been
Are
funny.
you kidding me?
Josh wants to come on. My buddy Josh from work.
Oh, that dude that never shows up to shit that he says he wants to be involved in?
Well, we have to pick him up.
Shit, we need to get a theme
Send an Uber.
song.
Fucking Dan in an Uber. You guys go get him.
I walked here today.
I wonder why I didn't see your
I
car.
wonder.
You gonna walk home too?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I bet you're fucking regretting that decision right now. aren't
I
you?
was sitting in front of your house
Try.
listening to the Brett Stanellis podcast with Rose McGowan. He's got good fucking people.
I hate
on.
Rose McGowan.
Yeah, but
She was on Howard Stern once, and she was so fucking boring.
no, she's militant as shit. Like she's very.
She was dull. I listened to her on Howard Stern. I said, "Fuck it, I want to listen to 2 hours of people."
Listening to Rose McGowan on Brett Stanellis made me want to get on Facebook and apologize for being a man. Like she's very feminist and very like, and I felt bad.
Stop bringing all this political shit to the fucking
Oh
podcast.
please.
Dan doesn't like feminists because he's a Republican.
I love women.
Women are the bomb, dude. Mike, you should try it out sometime.
Get the fuck out of here!
Mike ain't never had no pussy.
Never. Not
Mike's
once.
a virgin.
Not once. Virgin.
Mike needs to get his V card punched. So here's what we're gonna do.
Mike is like living right now. He's like,
Email us.
He's
Email
got his
us.
fucking black t-shirt on.
Email us at striketeam@gmail.com and talk about how you would punch Mike's V card.
Bullshit. Comment in the YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, everything.
Comment. We will get back to you.
Trust me, we monitor.
Somebody's got nothing
monitor
going on
everything
tomorrow.
religious.
Pat will include it in the show notes.
No, we're not going to include the show notes.
It's going to be the longest show notes ever, but when I realized...
It'll be longer than one of fucking Pat's speeches that he likes to do.
It's
on
the
the
fucking
show.
5th episode. I finally realized what show notes were.
The Empire Strikes Back of Drinks on Monday. This episode.
Pat's sending a Facebook conversation. What do you want me to include in the show notes? And I'm like, what are you talking about, show notes? I finally get it. All the stuff we talk about now.
Are you retarded?
So what
We
we're
didn't
going
even
to
talk about this.
what we're going to do?
First
We're going to
episode.
raffle off Mike's virginity.
Shit.
That is going to be.
Make sure you fucking vote on the straw poll. What?
You do the straw poll. You do the straw poll, right?
I put a straw poll up.
Can you make a voting thing for Mike's virginity so that like just how you do the straw poll?
Is asshole virginity?
No,
That's not.
not even up for grabs either. I'm saying like in general.
Tongue virginity?
No,
is he gonna go down on a woman finally?
Dan, we're doing this for comedic effect.
That is the joke. That is the joke.
We're gonna
Jesus
raffle
Christ.
off Mike's virginity.
Shit, this dick
One
is
lucky
dirtier
listener, one lucky listener of the Strike Team on Monday, Drinks on Monday podcast will have the fucking ability to possibly, because we can't prostitute Mike off. So what we're gonna do?
I'm so glad Mike Brett doesn't listen to
What
this.
we're going to do is we're going to make this a maybe. What we're doing is if you vote, and however we choose to
We're
work
gonna
this
put it in
out,
a raffle.
we're going to let them take Mike out. And whether or not Mike sleeps with them is up to Mike, because we can't pimp Mike out.
Oh, we're selling the cup, not
I
the
like
booze.
steak.
I like
I
it.
like sushi. I like
Well,
tacos.
hey, that's between you and your guy. So this is what we're going to do. All
She a
right.
great big fat woman.
So how do we try to sell Mike? Because there's no okay, people are listening to this podcast. They think it's funny.
What is he on? Is he on Plenty of Fish? Is
Yes.
he on?
No. This is the podcast dating site. How do we sell him? How do we make people actually want to participate in this contest with fucking
I'm here.
this dude being the prize? Like, how do we do that?
I am a prize.
And you know what? For the best of my knowledge, Mike is the one pursuing all the action. He spends quite a few hours on the internet.
Yeah, but he comes empty because he's waiting for the right one. So we are asking you, our podcasting audience, to come out and make your case. Okay, we should make them email us.
I'm trying.
So that you and I get to decide who he goes out on a date with.
Oh, it's like
Like they have to write a letter
it's
to
like,
us.
what is it?
But hold on.
Married at
Oh no,
Society.
it's more like a love connection.
Yes.
Oh!
Dan,
And then we bring it in and we. Yeah.
No, Dan, are you willing to also? I'll split it with you. We'll pay for it.
No.
We will pay. We will pay
for nothing.
No, fuck you, you cheap bitch. We'll pay for Mike and one member of the studio audience or the
audience of
audience. So we'll read through all their letters and their proposed dates, and then you and I will decide who is going to go out. We're going to send out a date with Mike Vanderbilt.
A lot of people want to go on a date with Mike Vanderbilt. They want to know what it's about.
I think this would be a lot of fucking fun. And if you don't see this, you're fucking goofy.
How about this?
Okay.
How about we read the emails and then me and you come up with a date? We know Mike. We know Mike. We got him. We got him locked in. We read the women. We read what they like. And we say, all right, you're going to Quigley's.
But we got to fund it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to Quigley's. You're going to the Mystic. You're going. You're going.
Oh, I like.
You're having a walkabout.
Because I'm in a relationship now, Dan, and you're in a relationship now. So, as being two friends of his, we should make it a priority to find him somebody that can spend the rest of his life with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we can secretly record it.
Let's not be creased. He's got to come back and tell us about it. He's got to come back and tell us about it.
He doesn't kiss and tell.
But no, that's one of the rules and stipulations of this date. If we're going to pick you out,
the whole point is that it's for.
We're going to handpick you, and we're going to pay for everything. You got to come back, and she's got to do the interview.
She'll come sit here. We'll all sit here in the kitchen.
No, you go hide something. You go in the bathroom, and we talk to her, and we ask her.
No, Michael, sit.
No.
It'll be just that's how you do on a Love Connection.
All right. Well, we'll debate that. So what do you think? Dating game shit? Should we do this?
If anybody wants to try it, I'm on board.
If there's any listeners out there that want to try this.
If there's any listeners out there that haven't gone on a date with me, I'll be fucking amazed.
What was our play count last month? Like, let's say there's 40 listeners. You know he's fucked like 30 of them. You know that's who 30 of these. We're going to get 30 fucking emails. I swear to God, dude.
I can't wait because we're going to choose a fucking blast from the past. It's not going to be.
Oh, it's going to be good.
It's not going to be. Girls, it's not going to be a new one.
This is
going to be an old one. He's not going to know it's an old one. He's going to go on the date, and he's going to be.
His narrative.
He's going to be like.
I like his narrative.
I think I remember you, but no. I do not know how to bring this up.
All right, here's the thing: old ones. This is your chance to go on a date with Mike Vanderbilt that's completely paid for, that you can make an excuse for because you didn't think you were going to win. Yeah. It's like you get to go. Like I'm talking about bitches from like the Ryan Adams.
We'll post a straw poll.
We'll vote them in, and we'll pay for everything. And you go out and you convince me like I was just fucking around. I didn't know they'd pick me. And like secretly, me and you, Dan, that's who we pick.
You know what?
We start from the back.
You know what? We could just make this a whole fucking series.
We really fucking could.
The strike team picks out a match. Like we're matchmakers.
Well, just so you guys know, I like to go out, but I also like to stay in.
You like long walks on the beach?
No,
were you doing David Bowie? Please tell me you were doing David Bowie.
I'm just looking for something real. That's all I'm looking for.
Women that don't make you wear a condom, I get it.
No condom.
Oh no, I always wear condoms.
Exactly.
That's peace of mind.
No cream pies.
That's peace of mind right there. No, I always wear a condom.
I don't think. I mean, think about it. You're raffling pussy off to some dude from through a podcast.
What kind of?
You totally got to wear a condom with that girl.
I just don't want to be fucking turned into a walrus. That is my one stipulation. Don't want to be turned into a walrus.
So that's how we're going to end it for now, and we'll be back shortly.
Are you still doing comedy?
I don't know.
I haven't heard any tonight.
Have you heard anything funny?
All right. If anybody has any advice on daily fantasy leagues, please email me.
Where did this comedy shit come? Was that a jab?
I thought you were in Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind. Obviously,
we're in October.
That was a month ago. That was fucking weeks ago.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys later.